Hello everyone, I am going to go over the daily plan as well as the live market commentary I provided through StockTwits. You could see my username on the screen. I will also leave a link in the description. Alright, so before looking at today's price action, let's look at yesterday's. This is a 30-minute chart, and you could see that yesterday's high day ended up being exactly where we were looking in our sell zone. So yesterday's daily plan given before open highlighted the high of day. Check posts. There's no randomness in the market. Stop talking about manipulation, the Fed, algos, the president. You see this a lot on StockTwits. People just make either excuses or are just completely biased in their trading. And essentially what I'm just trying to say is don't overcomplicate your trading with all these external factors, even indicators. Read the order flow, see what the market auction is doing, and then go from there. All these indicators are either lagging or just simply your external bias on whatever it may be. So let's continue on. Creating a daily plan, step 1, checking out the overnight TPO. Lots we could take here, right? Where are we trading in the market auction? What do we see from the overnight session? All things you must know to be a trader. Let's look at it. Obviously, this is a TPO chart. If all this stuff is new to you, I have a kind of introductory video to the footprint charts that I use. It's pinned on my home YouTube channel. So what are we looking at in the TPO? Well, there's a few things that we could take from the high. We could take some things from the profile itself, the volume profile, the low, yesterday's high. Obviously, market structure we have above. There's a lot of things we could take from the TPO and be able to help us get an understanding of what's going on in the market auction and obviously develop an edge with that. So yeah. There's more people talking about politics. All right, creating daily plan, step 2. Zooming out to our daily frame. Where do we see buyers located? Sellers, where are they trying to defend? Where are their stops located? We'll cover some in recap. All right. So without taking into context anything that we know from the TPO and market structure and all that stuff, simply looking at where we have buyers and sellers located. Well, as we came down into here, we could see buyers put a stop to this down move. Thin tape, signs of exhaustion here, buyers come in and support a temporary floor. All right, what happens? We come, we open this day, we run their stops, exhaustion again, big buying imbalance, whoops. And now, what happens? Where does the market want to go? Well, here's some interesting places. We have active sellers here, and we come up and pop some stops. Come down, take their stops, come up, take their stops. So we could see where sellers and buyers are and where they're trying to defend. They're staying in this range and just chopping. Hate to use the word chopping. It's always accumulating or distributing between large hands or whatever you want to say. It's the reason I say that is people use chop as a blanket statement because they don't know what's going on, but it's all very technical, and there's a reason behind it is all I'm trying to say. Today's daily plan, straightforward as trading should be. Do not overcomplicate it with indicators or external factors. Your goal as a career trader is to be able to identify possible inflection points with the best RR. That's it. If you want to be a trader long term, you have to have minimal amount of risk in the market. And using our tools, we could find where those places are and where these highly likely inflection points are going to be. And then reading the order flow, we could really get good entries, which of course is a goal, right? So yeah, using the TPO, using the footprint, looking at charts and our market logic, we could create these daily plans. This is for all the room members. So obviously I've been saying the room's going to be open on October 1st. We've had some people sign up early. So on launch day, I'm going to share the chart settings that I use with everyone. I'm going to have 2 videos there that they could then create their own chart books that they could use every day, and just a few tips and shortcuts when navigating the platform that I use, which is Sierra. Week ahead video would be on Sunday. Every Sunday I'm going to have a week ahead video of what to expect for the upcoming week. Of course, if they didn't already watch the videos, do it. And then I'm going to have an introductory course throughout Monday through Friday. It's a 3-part course. It may come into a 4th, but for right now it's 3 parts. And I'm going to do this live with everyone who's in the room. This way everyone could ask questions, and we could take our time with it and make sure everyone has a solid foundation of what they're going to learn. I understand that's a lot of stuff. And as you can see, that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then Tuesday and Thursday, what I want to do for members in the room is twice a week. It's not going to be necessarily every Tuesday and Thursday. It'll be mixed days, but like an hour and a half after the market close. Maybe if we have some really good price action, we'll decide as a group we want to do this day. And I'll go over and go into really exact detail with the tools and recap what happened and why it happened. So yeah, we got a busy opening week coming up. Pretty excited. Website, again, that'll be in the description, but it's ChocolateLabTrading.com. Alright, so now we are about 20 minutes out from open. Pay attention to the daily footprint candle as we approach open. Oh, I worded that so wrong. Whatever. Lots of things we could take here. What are we looking at? So here is the daily footprint coming into... Oh, this is the 4-hour. Alright, let's look at the daily here. Sorry. What can we see? We could see a somewhat, not the cleanest, B-shaped distribution. Over here in these thick volume nodes, some temporary exhaustion here on the daily. So we know that a lot of volume is here. We could see sellers putting a cap to it, buyers trying to hold it up. So what do we know about B-shaped profiles? We come above these sellers, we will pop their stops, and all these people selling in here will be fuel for the up move. Same thing in reverse. We come below here, all these people buying in this large volume area are now going to be tripping over themselves to exit their positions. Alright, so this is 15 minutes after open. Look at your daily, folks. Let me see if I have this picture on the side. I think I do. Look at your daily, folks. Look at where the volume is. What do you want to see for a reversal? Sorry. What do you want to see for continuation? I will cover this in the recap. All right. I do not have this picture. Wow, I did pretty poorly today with saving these pictures. I'm sorry. So again, we're looking at a daily footprint and what was a B-shaped profile. You could see that these buyers are getting steamrolled. So we're looking at smaller time frames, we're looking at delta changes between the volume, and we're seeing that these buyers cannot add enough here. They're not building out these volume nodes, so we have to continue down. They're not buying enough, and the selling is overwhelming them, and that's what you see with all these transactions being done here now. A lot of stuff we could take from our larger time frames, even though we're trading intraday. Buyers trying here with temporary exhaustion on 4-hour right before the buy zone. Exactly what we want to see. Let's see if buyers can provide a big enough bid to reverse. Watch the nodes on the tape. Do you understand? We'll cover some. Alright, so yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have this one either. Alright, so this is a 4-hour now. And we could see that the majority of the volume is in here. Then we have thin tape. We've been talking about thin tape in this episode. What's thin tape? In this case, it's going to be a lot of stop runs from people that were positioning themselves here. We come down, see temporary exhaustion on the tape, buying imbalance, big volume nodes looking good if we could get above, and then trade into this light volume area. But although this trade could work out if you're just playing for that, we want, as I said before, the least amount of risk in the in our trading. So what would be less risky? Waiting for more volume to come in, seeing that there's a large enough bid, so market makers or algos, whatever you want to call them, you could see that the bigger players are on your side too, and we could see that on the footprint. Or just playing with this when you don't have as much help, I guess you could say, behind you when you have so much resistance here above with this volume. You want this volume to build out so that this no longer even looks like a lot because there's so much volume down here. And then we could zoom into our time frames and get these really nice entries. Whoops. So again, what I was saying is, even though this looks good, we want to see more happen. This before we actually take the trade and go long. Although buyers are doing a good job now, they have to continue on. See how buyers added to that node. Pay attention to the delta, smaller time frames, and that bottom node. So what do we see here? A lot more buying here, right? Nice volume gap. We like to trade into that because if price accepts into there, we know that it'll most likely be a quick move up, and then we'll fill that volume. But I also pointed out, even though this is looking good, we still have to look at this volume and the bottom node. Look how many contracts are being transacted there. It doesn't look like the auction's done to me yet. So, and surely enough, we continued down. All the signs were there on the tape before it happened. This was the video I was talking about before, if this is all new to you. That is to get your feet wet. A very nice trade opportunity from buy zone, gave about 14 points, or of course $700 per contract. Surprise, or whoops, should be no surprise what buyers are trying there. So what happened? We had all these people trying to buy that we were looking at on the daily in this very cautious buy zone, because I knew that buyers could try here, but then as I always say, levels are just levels until the order flow confirms it. So we see that the buyers are trying, but we don't see any exhaustion. We see sellers working their way down, and that's why this was very cautious. We knew that this was likely to happen, and the tape confirmed that. So hands off, and what do we see perfectly? We see exhaustion into our buy zone. This is where we really wanted to be active, and sure enough, we got this ended up being the low day, actually, at least until I started recording. It could not be at this point, I don't know. So I did take this trade. I got long. I posted here. All right, here is I do have this picture, nice. Here's a 5-minute footprint, and let's talk about my entry. People were getting stopped out. We could see buyers here. Thick volume node here, thin volume nodes down here. We know what thin volume nodes are by this point. They are stops, and where do we want to enter? Where retail is being stopped. Now, I didn't do this live. You have to be super quick to get those. And there are some times where I can get it, but as we'll talk about in a little bit, I'm not always quick enough. So in this one, when I saw all this volume being done right above the level, I was then sitting with a limit over here. And I had my finger ready to cancel the limit just in case we slowly came down, but I was waiting to see if we would get a quick wick. And of course we did. But if you remember, we're talking about the daily footprint, so the larger time frames weren't pretty, as you might say. I'd want to see more volume built above to have the confidence to hold this trade for longer, even though it's still continued on. So I played this safe. I took 80% of the position off at 5 points. If you do know, most of my trades I take 50% off at 10 points always as my first target, but I was playing more cautious here. I knew this was a quick stop run. I had to take partials quick, move stop to break even, because you'll see many times that this will happen, but since there isn't enough volume, we'll come back down. But as you can see, we traded here and built a lot of volume here before moving up. But when you want to be active on the extremes, that's kind of how you got to play it. So what happened? We came, and sellers are active at that cautious buy zone, of course, this order flow level, and now this is where I was looking to re-enter. Oh, I don't remember. I took 80% off at 5 points, and then I took the rest at 10 points, so 42, like over here. All right, So I said in the room to the few guys who got in there, and I said I was going to look for a re-entry if permitted. And this was one of the times I was not quick enough. I had my limit here on 32 again, looking for a quick down. It didn't really look like it was going to happen, so I canceled the limit and then was switching to market order, but by the time I was doing all that, I missed where I wanted to enter. So yeah, took just that trade and missed the this ended up being the big move up, but no worries. That's trading. See how clean that distribution is. B-shaped right into buy zone given before open. Market is not random. And this is what you want to see. Complete exhaustion here at the lows. B-shaped profile. And you know that if we get over these sellers start accepting into these thinner volume nodes, that we could get running into at least here where we have some volume built up. Someone was asking a question. Yep. Yeah, if you don't know the stuff, just watch that this first video. Called yesterday's high day before open and now called today's low of day as of now before open. Market is not random. If you guys want to learn, ChocolateLabTrading. Another thing, thank you. I know how to read candlestick charts and draw patterns and read divergence and so on, but I'm still lacking skill of reading the orders. And I said, well, this is certainly a step in the right direction. Remember, the only reason you see a candlestick pattern is because market makers, algos, institutions, whatever you want to call them, want you to. They are the artists, if you will, who paint your candlestick chart. They cannot hide transacted volume, though, and that's where the footprint helps us. We could see exactly in the candle what where it was bought and how much was bought. Really lets you dissect the order flow. Alright, not only did the daily plan outline the as of now low day, but this cautious buy zone has provided multiple 10-point bounces as after it was reclaimed. So we're looking at a 5-minute chart, and this was this bounce that we were talking about, and as soon as it reclaimed, we get a nice 5-minute candle close above, because you could see here 2 candle closes below. We're still looking like we might reject it. These seller stops get popped, then tape. We know this. And we've reclaimed. What happens when we reclaim? We'll get a pullback, fill the volume gap, exhaustion. That's one solid entry. 10 points plus. I think it was like 12 or 13, whatever it was. And then another try here where you, I forgot where this ended up topping out, but this actually took out this high. So again, these order flow levels, using the tape like this, you can take these trades. I did not. I took my trade. I made my money, and I wasn't going to put any more risk out into the market. So yeah, that's all the live commentary provided. At 12, I stepped out of the office and got some sunshine. So I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next recap.